news happening now. This is Wave 3 News.
And let's get to that big breaking news story right now from downtown Louisville. Take a look at this live picture right here. You see a lot of smoke in the sky, and this is coming from the area of 1st and Main Streets. We all know it as Whiskey Row.
Yeah, it's a 2-alarm fire. It's in that area of Doc Crow's and O'Shea's. Let's see if we can go right now to our reporter Theo Keith, who just arrived on the scene moments ago. Theo?
And so have firefighters arrived just moments ago. I'm going to step out of the way and give you a look at this fire that's billowing out of the buildings here at 1st and Main. This is Whiskey Row. This is the building that the smoke is pouring out of right here, that's next to the facades with the parking lot in the background, if you're familiar with this area. I just heard a firefighter come by and yell, "We're going defensive," which means that they'll attack this from the outside of the building, not the inside. It is an old building, so it could be unsafe there. Firefighters just getting organized at this point as to how they're going to attack this fire. You can see the incredible amount of smoke that's pouring out, really affecting people on the sidewalks here. They've shut down traffic here on Main Street, forcing people to divert onto 1st. So Main Street between 1st and 2nd are closed. Obviously, this is incredible to look at. Quite a scene going right now. We will get some information on how they are going to attack this fire, and we will bring that to you as soon as we get it. For now, we're live downtown. Theo Keith, Wave 3 News.
All right.
Expect more right now. You're watching Wave 3 News.
Breaking right now at 5:30, Whiskey Row in downtown Louisville. Look at that, engulfed in flames. You can see smoke billowing from the historic building from Air 3. Almost unbelievable to watch. Thanks for joining us at 5:30. I'm Dawn G.
And I'm Janelle McDonald. Right now we have team coverage, multiple reporters on the ground. It continues from the site of the enormous fire. There you see Main Street in downtown Louisville. We start with Wave 3 News reporter Theo Keith, who joins us now live. And Theo, what's the latest?
Well, hi, Janelle. Let me give you the good news right off the top here. I have confirmed with Louisville Fire that no one is inside this building that's on fire still. I'm going to step out and show it to you, and you can see right now the whole thing consumed with smoke. When we got here, the smoke was coming out of the 1st floor. It has since moved all the way up this 4-story building and is now coming out of the roof. Because of this building's age and the size of this fire, Louisville firefighters are going defensive. They are not going into the building, and I haven't seen anybody up on the roof of the actual structure that's on fire right now. They do have multiple hoses fighting this fire from the outside, and that is their approach right now. At the same time, they've moved everyone back from the sidewalk. Our view is a little worse now because they moved everyone back, fearing that this building could collapse. They've moved us back once and then a second time because of those concerns. In addition, they have evacuated several people along this block, including the employees at Doc Crow's, which is 3 doors down the restaurant. An employee there told me they were asked to evacuate, and they have decided to close for the rest of the day because of this fire that is ongoing. Again, no one is still inside this building. That is the good news as firefighters continue to fight this large blaze at this old building. We're live downtown. Theo Keith, Wave 3 News.
Theo Keith has been here since it began, and Theo, you've seen this call. It came in at about 4:30, and this spread very quickly. There was a lot of wood and a lot of structure inside.
We got here about 4:50 this afternoon. The fire was in the basement and on the 1st floor. We've since seen it spread throughout the entire building, 4 or 5 stories tall. And since then, firefighters have moved us back 4 times. We're now a block away here. We were on the sidewalk right across the street. A building collapse is very real at this point. The roof is already caved in, and they're concerned that the front of that building might actually collapse. We did talk with fire officials just probably 5 minutes ago who updated us on the firefighting response. Take a listen.
We're bracing for a potential collapse, and of course with that, that's not something that we can control. We're doing our best to ensure that that doesn't happen.
And so here we are, about 75 firefighters are now on the scene. They're calling it a 3-alarm fire. What that means to you at home, 75 firefighters here. Some of the adjacent businesses you mentioned have been evacuated, some voluntarily evacuated, and some have closed for the rest of the day because of this fire, Scott.
Some interesting renovation going on here in this historic property. Theo Keith joins me now to tell us more about what started here really just a couple of weeks ago inside behind that wall.
Renovation work was going on for the last couple of weeks. This is part of the Main Street Revitalization Project. I've learned that not only are these buildings historic, but Metro government taxpayers actually have a stake in this work going on here. This was part of a public-private partnership between the owners of the 21C Hotel, Steve Wilson and Laura Lee Brown, and also Metro government to revitalize the buildings back here. Work was going on for a couple of weeks. Construction workers were in these buildings as recently as 3 p.m. today, although by the time firefighters got here, none of them were left in the building. We did talk to fire officials here on the scene about an hour ago about what they know about that construction work going on inside.
They were doing some work today. We are not sure as to the type of tools or the type of work that was being done. They did confirm that power tools were being used. Don't know what type of tools were being used, whether it was, torches or saws or anything that could have generated a spark.
Obviously, there are major questions once this fire gets put out, of course. They have prevented the front-facing facade from collapsing so far, but other parts of the building, the roof and one of the back walls have partially collapsed. The questions are going to be what can be saved of this building. Obviously, Metro government and some investors have some big plans for this property.
Firefighters still on the scene here doing a lot of work. Theo Keith has been here all afternoon, and Theo, they were concerned it could collapse. That's why they moved us back farther.
4 times they moved us back throughout the afternoon and early evening. You take a look at the building, it's a bit of good news, bad news at this point. The latest fire briefing is that they do feel like they have it contained. The fire is not spreading anymore. Obviously, the facade has not collapsed, that historically important facade, but there are some issues. The back of the building has collapsed. The roof has partially collapsed. There's not a lot left of the inside of the building. They're very concerned about the front-facing facade still. People have been evacuated. Restaurants and businesses here in the area. Several tenants in the Whiskey Row apartments have been evacuated as well. Those people will not be able to get back in for several hours, possibly overnight. The road, Main Street between 1st and 2nd here, will not be open for several more hours, if not overnight as well. Firefighters, again, did just brief us on that update that they have, and again, it is a bit of good news. The fire is, they feel, contained. Have a listen.
We're keeping it again in check. We're still spreading, throwing water on it to make sure that whatever flames are there are not spreading, are not getting any bigger. So we're keeping it in check, make sure that those hot spots, so to speak, are kept at bay.
The owners who you heard from in the soundbite a couple of minutes ago, they have been here on the scene. I'm told that they are going to brief the media at 11 o'clock tonight. So still, a lot of this is very much up in the air. This was part of the Main Street Revitalization Project. The owners, the founders of the 21C Hotel, are instrumental in this project. Also, Metro government taxpayers are on the hook here for part of the building. They have a stake in it. This is a public-private partnership. So certainly the mayor watching very closely and other officials watching very closely that hopefully this facade will be saved. Do want to point out again, no one was inside the building, and firefighters did say that there was construction work going on as recently as 3 p.m. today, but there was no one inside the building when they got here. No cause yet either.